The Eminence in Shadow episode 6. And how rapidly have the episodes have been passing by? We're already in episode 6, I think out of 20 or 21, something like that. So yeah, I mean, so fast the episodes have been going by. I don't know if you have perceived the same way as I have. And to be honest, this episode was a little bit different than I thought it was going to be. I mean, there were elements here and there that I actually did expect to happen in this episode. For example, having a little bit more of an interaction between Shadow, or I should say Sid, and Cherry, the pink hair girl. I did expect that to happen in this episode. And of course it did. But at the same time, I also didn't expect to see the plot to ruin Shadow's Guardian's name. Because yeah, we got more of that in this episode. It started, I think it was in the last episode that we learned about that there was a person, or I should say a couple of people trying to ruins Shadow's Guardian's name, and we actually saw that in this episode. But I guess I should start with the main importance of the episode, which is the new introduced character, which is Cherry, the pink hair girl that we saw at the ending of the last episode. And yeah, we get to see a little bit more of her. We get to learn a little bit more about her character, her personality, what she does, and stuff of that nature. For example, we get to know that she's an, I guess you can say, expert in analyzing artifacts. In this case, Iris told her to analyze the device or the artifact that was found out in the Diablo's code laboratory or facility. And well, she takes up the task in part because her dad convinced her, but yeah, she takes up the task of studying this artifact. And I actually think that this artifact is actually bigger than people might think it is, because after all, you have a whole organization taking the name of Shadow's Guardian just to get it. So yeah, this is no simple artifact that has no value, no meaning. But at the same time, I sort of doubt my own statement, because we do see, after all, Sid see it a couple of times throughout the episode, and in the last episode I think also, or maybe he didn't really see it, maybe he wasn't paying that much attention to it. But regardless, it has to have some significance. So yeah, there's that. And yeah, I can see already how the interaction between Cherry and Sid will start. It started in this episode. Well, I guess you can say in the last episode, but in reality in this episode, because we see Sid give her a chocolate box. And yeah, like I said, that is how their interaction will start. I also want to mention that it is actually pretty good that we still see a lot of Alexia. The reason I say this is because I thought there was a possibility that Alexia was just cast aside as a background character, as a character that was never introduced. But yeah, I mean, she did get some screen airtime in this episode, and I hope in the coming episode she still gets more airtime. For example, we see her interact with Shadow in this episode again, and she's sort of curious of what exactly are Shadow's Guardian intention. And when she's talking with Iris, Iris says that, well, both of them are enemies, the Cult of Diablos and Shadow's Guardian. So I don't know how will Alexia take this, because I don't think Alexia hates Shadow and Shadow's Guardian, because they saved her life after all. So I don't know how she will take that statement from her sister. I don't know if she will actually go through with, fighting Shadow's Guardian. But yeah, there's something there definitely to see what happens in the future. And I don't know if you all sense the same thing when seeing Cherry's father. There's something mysterious about him. I don't know if he's part of the Cult of Diablos or something like that, because I mean, the way he was, cheering his daughter to study the artifact, acting throughout the whole episode, seems sort of fishy, seems sort of weird. I don't know if that was just the episode trying to mess with us, or how the episode made him seem, deceiving the atmosphere. But yeah, he seemed kind of fishy. I don't know if I'm misinterpreting things, if I'm overthinking things, because that could be actually the case, that he's just simply a good father, a good character, and there's nothing more to him than just that. But like I said, there seems to be something more about him. Even when he's at the end of the episode interacting with his daughter, when I think he was hugging her or something like that, he seems sort of suspicious. Maybe he wants to use her daughter only to just investigate the artifact, because he wants to have that knowledge in order to, I don't know, sort of leak it to the Cult of Diablos or something like that. But at the same time, you can say, well, why doesn't he just take the artifact to the Cult of Diablos instead of just letting her daughter analyze it? I get that it's a perfect counter argument, but I mean, let's see what is the case with him, because even if he's not part of the Cult of Diablos, he does seem pretty fishy. So yeah, I will actually be surprised if he's just a normal dad character. It's actually pretty funny because it's actually all the opposite. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a bad character, if he has other motives in mind. I would be more surprised if he's just the character as he was portrayed in this episode. But yeah, that was the most important thing that happened in this episode. I think this is going to be a little bit more of a shorter review. But yeah, like I said, that was the most important part of the episode. We see some characters here and there. We see, of course, Sid's friend. We see Moo, the new introduced character, which I thought she was suspicious from the beginning. But as the episode progressed, I sort of threw that idea out of my mind because she seems to be a normal character from Shadow's Garden. So yeah, it did seem to me that she was more suspicious than just your normal Shadow's Garden character. But no, I mean, she was actually just a normal character. So yeah, there's that. And we also saw Gamma, and I think that was all the main characters that we saw in this episode. A pretty good episode, a little bit different than I thought it was going to be, but definitely a pretty good episode. I hope the next episode continue as this episode was, because there was a lot of building in this episode that will lead to further developments in the next coming episodes. So yeah, in that sense, that episode is pretty good because, like I said, it did a lot of world building for the upcoming episodes. So yeah, let's see what we see in the next coming episodes. A lot of interactions between Cherry and Sid, probably more from Alexia, more from this sort of organization that is trying to dirty Shadow's Guardian's name. So yeah, let's see what's up with them. Let's see if they actually pose a threat to Sid and the others. I don't think so, but we'll see about that. And yeah, that will be my episode review, and I guess I'll see you all in the next episode review.